Here are 5 steps, 5 things that anyone with a bit of garden can take to achieve food independence. The first thing that you can do, if you have an area of land or a garden, should I say, that's reasonably flat, has a solar aspect that enables it to have at least half a day's sunshine, and it's handy for water and for your kitchen, is build a vegetable bed. That list of attributes, obviously you might have to jiggle them around a bit to factor in what you've got. Of those, the most important is sunshine. You really do need to prioritise sunlight. This is a bed that I built a couple of years ago. It's a no-dig bed. It was created by laying cardboard straight onto the lawn, 2 or 3 inches of compost on top of that. Then I planted straight in. And the following year I refreshed the compost with an extra inch of compost, again planting that for the following season. If you wanted to dig the bed, I prefer no dig because I've got a bad back. If you wanted to dig the bed, you can do that. You strip off the turf from the top, put it on one side, dig the bed over, reincorporating the turf as low down under the soil as you can, and also a bit of compost or manure, and then plant in your dug bed. The plants that I grew in here on that first year, I had spinach at one end, and then I had some salads, and then further down I put some beetroot and a few turnips and things like that. That provided me with salads right through the summer, a good crop of spinach, and the beetroots and the turnips I ate throughout the summertime as well. As things like the spinach came up, I replaced them with courgette plants, which gave me good fruit right through the summer season. And then as others came up, I put in winter veg. This was the same planting system I followed this year. This is winter broccoli, as you can see, which is just producing these purple heads, which I eat right through the winter. You can also eat the leaves as well. Another example of winter planting down here, I've got chard. Again, this went in late summer. So this will all come out soon. I've been chomping them through the dark of the winter. And I'll plant again with salads. So you can see, even from a small bed like this, it's about 4 metres long, just over 1 metre wide. You can have quite a selection of bits and bobs, leafy greens in the spring and summer, more substantial vegetables, courgettes and so on, as the season progresses. Then you can move on to your winter veg. So I would really say, if you want to take a step towards independence and self-sufficiency, just start small. Just have one bed. You can put a lot of different pieces in it, and then if you find you enjoy it and it works for you, you can expand and have more beds and start growing crops like potatoes that need a bulkier space. But important from the point of view of just getting started is to start with something that's manageable. So one vegetable bed, planted intensively, dig or no dig, in the sunshine. You'll have a great time, and you're taking your first step towards food independence. Second thing you can do, if you have a level area of ground in your garden, and it doesn't even have to have soil, you can have one on a concrete base, is a greenhouse. If you're not feeling particularly flush, shop around. You can often get them second-hand, either free or cheap. This one was free, found it on Facebook Marketplace. The existing owner was very happy to get rid of it to a good home. In your greenhouse, you can, as I said, you can either have it on a concrete base and grow things in pots, or this particular one I've got soil beds, as you can see, raised soil beds. Your greenhouse will enable you to vastly increase your food production. In the summer you'll be able to grow things like cucumbers and indoor tomatoes that you wouldn't normally be able to grow outside in a British climate. And in the spring and the autumn time you can extend the growing season, so you can have salads and early and even late potatoes, a lot of things like that. So advice number 2 is get yourself a greenhouse, start growing in it. Third thing you can do is build yourself a chicken run. I'm in my front garden now, and it's quite sheltered, so it's not that brilliant a place for vegetable growing. But chickens are originally, their wild ancestors were woodland birds anyway, so they do like a bit of shade. I'll show you around the run briefly. At the back here is their house, chicken coop. This forms a fox-proof enclosure for them to go in in the night time. Little laying area under here where they lay their eggs, and I collect them each morning. This morning run connects to the chicken coop. It also is fox-proof. They just pop out in here in the mornings, and they can rummage around. They've got a little bit of soil there, and it keeps the rain off them as well. Until I come along. I come along usually mid-morning. I give them a bit of time to lay their eggs, and I open this hatch here and let them out into this outside area. It's still fenced off, but they can experience a bit of the great outdoors there, rummage around in the soil and so on. And come the evening, I throw some grain inside. They go in. I put the door down again, and it keeps them away from the fox. In terms of productivity, our hens, we've got 3 hens here now. They're about 4 years old. They're still laying. We get perhaps 1 egg per hen every couple of days. When the girls were young, it was maybe as much as 1 egg per chicken per day. But there's enough eggs still from these 3 middle-aged chickens to keep my wife and I supplied with eggs quite well. For feeding, we give them pellets which we buy from the local farm suppliers. We buy them in 20-kilo bags. They're not free, but it's certainly much cheaper than buying eggs in a supermarket. And I supplement their diet with kitchen scraps and also any greens from the garden. They love that kind of stuff. And worms, of course, they take up worms and stuff from the soil. So a chicken run is a very, very economical, good way of keeping yourself supplied with nice fresh eggs. Fourth thing you want to do is build yourself a compost heap. It doesn't have to be as grand as these bins, although feel free to do so if you want. These are made of brick. You can actually buy compost bins that are ready to go, either wood or plastic, or you can make your own, or you can just make a pile in the corner of the garden with a bit of cardboard over to keep the rain off. By making compost, you are reusing a lot of nutrients that otherwise you literally just throw away. You recycle the compost into potting material for your greenhouse if you're growing things in pots in there, or outdoors if you're growing things in pots outdoors. You put them on your vegetable beds, your fruit trees and things like that also benefit. It's just a very good way of using something that is naturally available to you. We all have food waste, we all have garden waste if we have a garden, and not throwing it away. So the compost is an economical way of providing yourself with fertiliser and mulch for your garden. Everyone should do it. And the 5th thing I would definitely advise is a few fruit trees and bushes. We haven't always got room for rows and rows of vegetable beds, but we've usually got an odd corner where we can pop something. These are 3 dwarf apple trees. They're on a dwarfing rootstock, so they won't grow huge. So I just popped in along this wall, separating myself from my neighbour. From these 3 trees, we get a very good crop of apples each autumn time. Keeps me in apple juice, which I like to drink. And apples for the table as well, apples for pies and that sort of thing, for a good 3 months of the year. You can also grow fruit in containers. Here I've got a variety of containers. This is a box I built with blueberries in. We get a fantastic crop of blueberries here each summer. This is a similar planter. It's got strawberries in it. There's another strawberry planter here which is just made from an old vegetable box. Easy way of doing it. Another planter here with strawberries in. The soil I use to fill the planters with is just a mixture of homemade compost and garden soil, so saving quite a bit of money there. And homegrown strawberries are one of the most fantastic things you can grow. Not only do you get a lot of strawberries, but you have strawberry jam, and that's just one of the finest things, homemade strawberry jam, you can have.